Hey guys, this is Alex from Games and Me. Just actually wanted to talk about one of the games that I just finished recently. It's called Mirror's Edge. It's actually coming out for the PC, and it's out for the PS3 and the Xbox 360 right now. Couple of things. This is not going to be a review of the game. This is just my first impressions. I already mentioned that I am recommending the game to some people for our review club episode that we recorded this week. And let me get into more detail as to why I said that. Now, we here at Games and Me, we don't necessarily try to point out all the negative things about the game. There's some things that people need to know before they get into their games and stuff like that, and some things that you may disagree upon. And that's something that we value a lot, because to us, you're our target audience. To us, all these games are really good. In terms of Mirror's Edge, my personal preference is that it should have remained a parkour game, and maybe in terms of the gameplay, maybe it would have improved the combat a little bit more. A lot of people were saying that there are multiple paths throughout the level, but there's this one section in the mall where I think the guy in the headset basically says, "Oh crap, they have machine guns and stuff." This is in the mall section, and what you have to do is you basically have to climb all the way up to this catwalk that's hanging above this floor. And you actually, well, the way that I saw it is that you have to actually go across, swing across, to get to the other side. But here's one problem. Faith will never pick up a magazine, a magazine for a gun. She won't pick up a gun that's on the floor, whether or not it has a magazine or not. People can tell me that this game, is emphasis is on speed. But if it's really true that the game has multiple paths, then it doesn't necessarily need to be immediately apparent. But in games that are stealthy, or even that are trying something new, let's say Metal Gear Solid or something like that, where Metal Gear Solid specifically was a stealth game. You kind of had an idea of where to go. A good comparison would be Assassin's Creed, where in Assassin's Creed it was kind of apparent as to where you need to go. Unfortunately, when you're tying in indoor environments where a lot of people don't know that parkour is actually available in those types of situations, it becomes very, very kind of tricky. And I'm talking about the sport. In terms of the a gameplay element, typically you're cued to go where you're supposed to go. But the one thing that they introduced, which is the runner vision, doesn't work as well as it should be. Some items are proximity based, so it is true that you can see a red door right across the way, but it's also true that you may not see a platform that you need to jump on unless you actually jump on. You're actually within a few yards of it. Now, is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? Well, it depends. I don't mind the action at all. It's just very jarring that you're supposed to be doing things really super fast and stuff like that, and running up walls and then jumping impossible heights and stuff, and then they slam you with this section where the guy basically tells you on the radio you have to fight your way through this. Because imagine this situation. 3 guys on a rooftop. Your only exit is basically a pipe that you have to climb up. And of course the pipe doesn't have any cover, so what are you supposed to do? If you try to climb up the pipe, which I tried because I thought that you could just kind of sneak by and stuff, you can actually try to run up the pipe, try to climb it, but Faith is not that fast when climbing pipes. And that's kind of another issue I had with the game that's supposed to be fluid and has the flow. So what you wind up doing is you're climbing up a pipe really, really slow. The enemies see you, shoot you twice or 3 times in my particular case, and boom, you're dead. So how could they have avoided this? Well, there's a couple of ways to do it. One, make the combat a little bit more relevant, even though it's kind of like the what was it? It was the argument that I think IGN mentioned with Silent Hill 5, specifically where now that the character knows how to fight, it's less scarier of a game. I don't think that works at all. I mean, you need to be able to defend yourself, regardless of how how useless the controls are. So you mean to tell me that you would have rated the game a lot higher than a 6.5 if the controls were broken? I mean, I just don't get that. In this particular case, it's kind of the same way with Mirror's Edge. True, Faith is not a fighter. She's a runner. So what I would think is that she would basically have the gusto to at least, use her judo moves and stuff to kind of disarm people, which you do have in this game. But the thing is, it's not shown to you in practice, and that's basically what I had a problem with. It's very static kind of situation. It hasn't given you an opportunity to kind of like say, okay, here's your chance to do this, this, and this, and this. So, but overall, the platforming is awesome. It is one of the most awesome platforming games I've ever played, because all the heights and stuff like that are, in terms of the first person, it gives you a really solid footing, no pun intended. It's really scary when you look down a building and you can possibly fall off to that, and you hear her bone crunching and you see her vision blur because she's falling so fast from a height. And yes, I've had my share of broken bones in that game, thank you. And it has to be one of the best experiences in first person I've ever had. In an earlier community question, I actually addressed Mirror's Edge and Fallout 3 as kind of like this new generation of first-person games that don't necessarily rely too much on shooting. Now, let's not talk about Fallout 3. In terms of Mirror's Edge, yes, I do understand that there's like a hypocrisy in what I asked last week, but majority of the game is still running, it's still platforming, and I think if they paced a lot of these sections a little bit better, they would definitely make a more cohesive game. But in general, I'm just going to reinstate what I said in the review. I recommend this for some people, mainly for platforming fans who are looking for something really different, something completely different they haven't played before. I will not recommend this to first-person gamers who think that there's going to be a lot of shooting and kung fu Matrix style kind of stuff in this game. Nothing like that happens. So, but maybe, let me know if you guys are actually first-person gamers and stuff, shooter gamers, like Halo, Gears of War 2, or Call of Duty fans, and you tried this game and you actually liked it. Tell me exactly what you liked about it, and what things I should look for, or what the guys in Games and Me are looking for. As the time of this writing, there's a couple of people who really want to play it. Maybe you can help them out and kind of like saying, hey, you know what, if you try this out, maybe you'll, because, God forbid, I'm not the only person in Games and Me. Oh, wait, you guys didn't know. There's actually 6 other people in this channel. So if you don't agree with whatever I say, just find somebody else who, you jive with. I'm pretty sure there's at least one of us that's going to agree with you. So until next time, let me start my impressions of Left 4 Dead. Thanks.